Hello and welcome to a special edition episode of the Scarf Bagara War with me, Russ Johnson. I'm delighted to be joined by former captain, National League winner, and one of the players that I often thought when we were starting to move up the leagues, this was like a bit of a marquee signing for me. So I'm delighted to be joined and to be talking to tonight, Liam Hogan. You all right, mate?
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. Tonight's all about you in Stockport County, or the Stockport area, should I say, because I know you did IR trials once, which went into a bit of a broader thing, so we'll concentrate on county. But firstly, I want to start with Woodley Sports, because you started off your career there, and there was a few players there that were known to county fans as well. But just take us through that, kind of how it started and how you got into Woodley Sports.
So I think I was at the point at the time where I didn't actually foresee me playing football professionally. And it'll be probably from the assistants, really, from Sam Walker, who I was really good friends with, really social group that we had, Mark Haslam, and actually Anthony Sarcevic was there at the time as well, where we were just obviously having time spent with each other as friends. And I think we went to Ireland for one of these tournaments over in Ireland, and at the time I was like really interested in obviously what he was playing over at Woodley Sports, and I was like, I'll come over and have a game or two, come down to a few sessions, and once I started up, I think Ali Pickering was manager there at the time. So obviously I'd played a couple of games. I'd actually gone out to America to coach on the camps, and at the time I actually got offered a scholarship to play in America. I was working in a gym, I was working as a personal trainer over in Salford, and I bricked it a little bit because it was kind of like, you can't leave, you can't go back, it's going to be from this summer onwards. And my job was sort of saying, look, if you stay, we'll have to sort of give your job up. So I panicked and came back, and spoke back to Sam and was like, I'm going to come back to Woodley. So I sort of did my second stint at Woodley with him, and there was Rob Parsons there, Gavin Salmon and a few of the other lads. And I actually took my brother down as well, so Scott came down with me and we were just sort of playing, and probably really enjoying my football at that time because it wasn't professional, it was just obviously knocking about with that social circle of friends really, and obviously Sam growing up in the area. Which was basically easy for me to jump on the motorway, go to training Tuesday, Thursday nights and play the games on a Saturday, and thought nothing of it. From there I was playing in an array of different positions. I played right wing, right back, and eventually I think I played a game. It was like a Tuesday night game. I played at Halifax and I was at home. I think we drew the game 2-2. I played against James Dean that day, who played up front, who was like at the time, and from then onwards was that target man I'd had a really good game, and approached by Neil Ashman. Neil Ashman came round to my house and said, look, I want to pursue and get you involved down at Halifax. And from there, literally, thinking of nothing coming of it. At the same time, and my best mate, Sars, it was heading for Crewe. And I thought, I'm going to give it a little go and see what it means. It was still part-time football, but obviously Halifax at the time were a big club that were just reformed and going to push themselves really to try and get themselves up the league. And obviously Neil coming to my house was like the first real connection I had with a manager. And obviously I've done a full circle because I'm back at Woodley now with the coaching and don't live too far. And that's probably a really important part of my career really, where it started, because I literally didn't have a direction. It was just playing for fun, it was just playing with that social group, and probably all down to Sam really, and knowing Sam at the time.
Yeah, so we're just coming back to Woodley then, because Woodley at the time would have been before it got built up as Stockport Sports Village. So what's it like? Obviously, we'll cover it in depth in a bit later, but what you're doing there now, but the differences are massive, aren't they?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, from the full-time sort of setup that I'm in now and have been for quite a while, I'm obviously down there seeing the academy side of things, how that's run. It's fantastic, really exciting. But I never had that. So I never had an academy. I had a couple of trials when I was at college. I went to Salford College in Worsley. I had Neil Redfern as a manager. I had Darren Sheridan as a manager. and Phil Dolan, who was like the course organiser, he's obviously over at Oldham himself now, and so again for me, being in and around this Northwest stuff, there's been a lot of full circles I've been in with sort of my social circle and making sort of connections, really kind of revisiting them down the line. And like I said, I'd never had an academy, so to see how an academy runs now and what the children get and the support they get, it's unbelievable. I wish I would have had it, because I wouldn't have known, where I would have ended up. I look at it now, like so far, it's not finished yet, that I've had a good career. Would have gone further, who knows, with that sort of foundation that they put into place now. But I think Alan Lord was there at the time. He's done a lot of recruitment from the area, Alan. Got on with Alan really well, and obviously he's really highly thought of in the area. And it was going to get your wage, and there was coins and notes in a brown paper envelope, and obviously with mine was missing probably 1 or 2 booking fees, and it was short quite a few weeks, but that was my own fault. But yeah, I'd never been used to anything like that. I was literally just playing, so even receiving sort of funds and a salary in terms of that, in a form of cash was new for me and stuff. Yeah. Like I said at the time, I said to my brother, look, come down, come and play some games. And from where it's been at, we've had Clarkey that's been there, who's played for Stockport as well. It's had some really good names that have been in and around for Woodley Sports, and it's great to see that they've never actually, obviously they reformed, and the Stockport Town, I think Paul Turnbull's in, obviously another county captain, really heavily linked in there, and it's really good to see the set up from what obviously was just one pitch, and obviously you kick the ball over the back and there was just brambles, trees, a little bit of a field down the back, and now you've obviously got all the pitches, the grass pitch, there's one grass pitch down the back, but all the AstroTurf pitches now, and how well it's run. The gym's just been redone. It's a fantastic sort of hub for the area, and you're obviously seeing now the academy thriving, attracting things from around, the Manchester Uniteds and the Manchester Cities, Liverpool's and sort of those types of teams, and obviously it's gone from strength to strength, having reformed again from obviously when we got back in the Football League.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't want to sort of go into too much, but your brother's gone on a bit of a different path to you, hasn't he? So was he never involved in an academy either himself, or has he sort of forged his own way?
Yeah, so more so him out of anyone, because I just went into work. Like I said, I was in the gyms, really interested in working in the gyms, and was doing some personal training, and I just got out there and went and joined it works like a teaching company that goes into primary schools and delivers the PE sessions, and I was just in that, so it wasn't really anything that I pursued. But my brother was like 3 years younger at the time, and he'd at his grassroots level played up front, scored countless goals. For me, myself, I've told this probably a few times, I actually played in goal till I was 16.
Yeah, I did.
I probably had a little stint. I played for my dad's team, and my brother played for obviously another member of the family over at Caddy's Sports, which has had players like Cameron Brannigan come through, and obviously my brother. It's a real sort of strong grassroots club, and I just never really, like I said, pursued it. And Scott scoring goals, and they kind of get the headlines of strikers. He had interest from Everton, he had interest from loads of different clubs that he'd been in on trial with. Rochdale had been one that he'd gone into and came out of before he went to like Ashton and Hyde, when he had a little moment out of the game kind of thing at grassroots again. But yeah, he more so was probably, I would have said, definitely going to go into professional football. He'd sit there and tell me, look, he's going to play in the Championship, he's going to play in the Premiership. When we're playing on computer games together, and just his drive was completely different, and he was just quite, I wouldn't say it was an ego, he was just so super confident that he was just going to do this, and probably because he'd had so much success at his grassroots stuff, and obviously he came through the college a little bit like myself at Salford. He sort of followed in like the paths that I took, but he was just, yeah, he had such a talent, and obviously goals, they attract people, and he was taken obviously in at Rochdale at the time, and from there he's banged goals in, and he's sort of said, he's manifested what he said at the time, and he got his move. He ended up with Aston Villa in the Premiership, but he's played in around the Championship for quite a while now, and only recently he's new pastures and a new challenge for him. He wants to get the fun back in the game, and he's gone over to MK Dons, and he's obviously started really well again there, so which I'm not surprised with. So yeah, really indifferent in terms of I sort of put my working career first, getting that platform in, and just sort of I tell the kids now in the academy, I just play for the fun, and you know, every single game there's different people who are there watching. You just never know. Don't try and put too much pressure on you. Whatever decisions are made for them now in the academy or going forward, because you see it's a real low percentage of children that get through in the academy, and I see them having knockbacks and having chats, and I just listen. There's no set way of making it. Obviously, you're really well supported if you're in them academy sort of scenarios, particularly Stockport's at the minute, which is really thriving. But yeah, I obviously I'm super proud of Scott. He's been fantastic. Obviously, I reckon the family are really proud of us both, having two brothers to go and play. And I see it now with, obviously, like I mentioned about my niece who's at Stockport Ladies now. You know, it's really good just to see the next generation like trying to keep it going within and around the family, which is great.
Yeah, it's really good. Back to your career then, because we talk about your brother, but you've had a really good career with some good clubs as well. Let's not forget that. So obviously, Halifax, Gateshead, Salford. You spoke a lot about that on the I Had Trials podcast. I won't go too much into that. But I guess moving from Salford to Stockport, how did that move come about?
Remember, if you want the full episode, you have to join our Patreon. This one's an hour and 15 long, plus we'll have a part 2 where we'll cover more topics with Liam Hogan in the new year. Patreon is £3 a month. You get all of our content ad-free. That's at least 2 podcasts a week, plus you'll be entered into a draw where you can win a monthly prize. Head over to patreon.com/Scarf Bagara War. Cheers, thank you.